begin again. There was a question that was asked to me at the break, and these are the kind of questions that I want you to ask with everybody else. I asked them to re-ask it now so you can all benefit from it. Who is the person that asked me the question? Oh, there you are. Okay. Go ahead and ask your question. Hold on. Oh.
The question is, just now that there were pictures of one mind looking at the other half, or the mind with the methods inside. So my question is, when this mind sees through the other mind or their own mind, would the mind itself resolve? Because oneself cannot see its own self. It's just like my eye cannot see itself. So, but I think I got the answer already because it has seen through it, so it knows that it's actually nothing. I don't know. Okay, it's a question.
Yeah. This is very interesting. It is what Master Dao Shin, the fourth patriarch, stated, now we come to the inconceivable portion of the program. And the question is, this is all mine. This part, the knowing aspect of mine, is not separate from this. That's why I put it kind of like matching halves. Okay, it's the same mind. It is not dual, where there is something here seeing something over here. Whatever it is, it isn't in this way. It is the same body understanding the body, which is why we talk about the ru-ru. The ru-ru is that there's not a separation to it. It is just the way the mind works. There's not a duality. There's not even a one. Because there cannot be a one, because if there was a one, then you'd say that there's something there, a something there. And it's interesting because then the reason I wanted to say this is because in the Perfection of Wisdom Sutra, the 8,000 line one, sometimes referred to as the Ashtashasrika Sutra, they were asking Manjusri, and so Sariputra was asking Manjusri and saying, Manjusri, in your practice, how do you to practice the unobstructed? And then later on, he asked him the same question, but how do you practice the inconceivable? So he's saying, because inconceivable means you cannot think about it. It's something beyond your ability to know. And he said, I am the unobstructed. I am the inconceivable. Think about this, because he's saying it correctly. He's using the word I there conventionally. What he's saying is unconventionally, that mind is inconceivable, mind is unobstructed. And so one uses the mind, this gets into very deep stuff now. One uses the mind in this way. And as we see that it's unobstructed or inconceivable, that's just mind. And so when it is seen in this way, there's no duality there. There's no self. It is in the ability of the mind to understand that it dwells, you know the term dwell, where it dwells or abides in non-abiding. Now you get to the deep end, okay? I just took you all the way through to the very deep end. And what's funny about it is right from the very beginning of Mahayana, from one of the early sutras, they're already going deep and getting you into non-abiding. So what does non-abiding mean? Is that when you're sitting in the cushion and you're meditating, as you're sitting in the cushion and you're meditating, you're not abiding in anything. You were just simply sitting there, inconceivable, unobstructed. Wow, that's cool. That's mine. You are utilizing the Buddha mind in a way in which there's no obstructions, no appearances. It doesn't mean that appearances do not arise, but they're no longer obstructions. Why are they no longer obstructions? Because the mind can see through them. The mind sees them as simply temporary appearances in mind. Song was asked, what is the primary meaning of mind? And he said, mind. Huh? Mind is the primary meaning of mind. Then comes a payoff one. What is the substance of mind? So what is the substance of mind? Mind is the substance of mind. All of this, everything that you see, all appearances, you go out of this room, you see the freeway, you see the sky, you see everything that's there. It's made out of the fabric of mind, woven by the fabric of mind in accordance with causes and conditions, pratika samappada. Everything is perfectly in its place. How you're dressed, why you wore your t-shirt today. No, why you're wearing your sweater. No, all the things that are happening that are in this room and things that are moving and people fidgeting, some people listening, whatever it is, mind is completely aware and it's precisely happy, precisely in accordance with causes and conditions. And one sees that is just simply mind seeing mind and seeing everything as the substance of mind. That's pretty cool. No, there was one of the first lessons of Bodhidharma when he came was that he went to the Emperor Wu. Emperor Wu, he was a great patron of Buddhism, so he was so happy to receive the Dhamma coming over, and so he welcomed him to the palace, and he says, you know, I've erected great stupas. I've supported the temples of the Buddhist masters. What merit have I received from this? And Dhamma, he just said, no merit. And so the emperor was like, phew, like, I'm sure the Taoists would have given me something, you know, or the Confucius, they would give me something, a plaque or something, not even a thank you. And he said, no merit. And so then Emperor Wu was so confused. And he said, well, then if there's no merit, and he's looking at Dhamma and says, who do I see before me? And Dhamma just said, I have no idea. So he taught him a great lesson, that it wasn't in the fact of reaching and getting merit. It is just the function. We see mind as it is, as it works, and in accordance with causes and conditions. But it is something that we understand how we practice. This is abiding and non-abiding. So there's no Dhammo there to give him a high five or a low five or whatever, you know, for him erecting stupas and building temples. It isn't in this way. So it's different. It is just something that people do. We don't do that for merit. We do whatever we do out of necessity, to fulfill vows of helping others, because we understand underneath the scalp of each and every one of you is the Buddha mind. That's important. That's worth saving. The body, I don't care how you think of your body and how nice your body is or whatever, it's perishable. It has a limited shelf life. And to me, if I was a banana, I'd be one of those bruised ones, that nobody wants to eat. And just wait, I wish it'd just fall off stem. But in any case, we understand. We see things in that way. I'm not afraid of falling off the stem, and they go, finally, toss it in the trash can. It's okay. What matters is what in between what was set into motion. That's what's important. I don't try to save the banana. I try to awaken the mind that's trapped in the skin of a banana. It's just that way. So this is called non-abiding. Non-abiding means we don't hold. So when we sit to meditate, we don't hold on to anything. Nothing. You do it in this way. You understand how it is. And if you can practice in this way, you're not far from it. If you sit and you're trying to get something from the meditation, all you're going to do is get sore legs and sore back and whatever. But if you just let it go, you're going to see a lot of thoughts, more thoughts than you've ever seen before. You're going to say, this doesn't work. I got so many thoughts. They've always been there, but you've never realized how many, because your mind's so clouded it can only see the big ones. That's why they call it subtle wisdom. You're able to see it. But the thing is you have that ability, what the ancients said, to confront 10,000 warriors at one time. So can you imagine if you're there, only the old kung fu star, the Zhou Renfa, could be there with his sword. 10,000 enemies. I'm not afraid of you. I've got all the time in the movie to beat you. But it's that way. You have to have that courage to do that. If you have the courage to be able to confront the 10,000 enemies, all those enemies are thoughts. Another one, the donut, the dog, work, whatever it is that's coming up, you just let them go by, let them go by, let them go by. Why? There's nothing for them to stick to because you are not there. Mind is there. Don't think that you're getting anywhere. Just take a rest. What's hard about just taking a rest? Take a rest from yourself. Don't you think you deserve that every once in a while? To take a rest from you? Stop talking. Well, what are you going to do about that problem? Stop talking. Oh, this is going to really do something. Stop talking. Just let it go by. Let it go by. Just ignore it. Ignore it. No, it's that way. Okay. So anyway, that's why I wanted to explain that, because it's inconceivable. You are now practicing the inconceivable. You are sitting in mind looking at mind. There are not two. It's not subject object. Mind knows itself. How could it not know itself? How could something that created something not know what it created? But it doesn't have a form or any image or anything. It is just mind. It's everything. So what is there to call mind? It isn't in this way. And before we start with the rest of it, I want to leave with this one image. One of the masters, Master Han Shan, he said, you should imagine yourself and this is the sky. Piercing the sky. You use the sword of wisdom to cut a hole in the sky. Think about that. Imagine if I was here and I say, hey, you guys want to see a cool trick? One you've never seen before. Not even in those Chinese magicians that change things around and things, something. And I went outside and I cut a hole in the sky. And you go, that's something different. How can you cut the sky open? You can. That's what Master Han Shan was saying. When I heard him or read that, he said that, I was stunned. Because if you cut a hole in the sky, what would you want to know about that hole in the sky? Anybody? What would be your impression if I went and I cut a hole in the sky? The sky, I'm not talking about the ground, I'm talking about the sky. I would want to know what's on the other side. And I would start going like, well, maybe this is a real place as I thought it was. Because if you can cut a hole in the sky, but that's what all from Shakyamuni Buddha on, all of the masters, it doesn't matter whether they're Theravada or Mahayana, they're all pointing to that hole in the sky. They're all saying, turn the mind's eye inward. What are you going to see? Is you're going to see the mind's eye looking into the bubble. What's behind the eye? It's inconceivable. You, as one master said, you would have to drink or swallow all the waters of the Ganges River, and then I would tell you. So can you do that? I don't think even on a good day, some of you could do that. Even if you were beer drinkers, I don't think you could do that. But it is here where we're seeing what this is all about, is this eye looking into this world. That's the Buddha eye, looking into the world and going, you know, this is kind of strange. You all think you're real and you're just a bubble in the stream. What stream? The mind stream. So it's in this way that you can do that. That is what you're doing when you're on the cushion. You are slitting a hole in the sky, in the idea of the ego or a personality. Not bad, pretty good stuff. No, go home and then tell them that. What did you do? I slit a hole in the sky. We've got to go to the doctor right now. So, but in any case, there's a saying that says that what appears to be real is not real. What appears to be not real is real. So in this way, again, Theravada and Mahayana are not inconsistent with each other. It is in this way that we see, but we have to understand that this world itself is an illusion, but it is made from the fabric of mind itself. Okay, now we begin to set forth the way to meditate. So setting forth the way to meditate, the first thing that we do is that we have to have an awareness. And you can go ahead and take a meditative posture, you know, to sit however you feel in your way to meditate, or you can put right hand, form a bridge, and put it on, rest your palms on your legs. Keep your body erect. And become aware of this moment. Be very aware. Keep the mind in the present moment. Aware of where you're at. This is very important for you not to forget that you are sitting where you're sitting, because you have to compare that to appearances that arise. If appearances arises that is not you sitting, disregard it and affirm yourself that you're sitting facing towards the front. Mind is aware simultaneously of the temperature, the sounds, breathing, creaking in the room, changes of light, not holding on to anything, just simply aware of all of the things without judging them. Neither good, no abiding, just mind awareness. As you begin to contemplate your method, looking at the method. If you do not have a method, just be aware of the breath coming in right below your nostrils. Don't follow it in, just be aware that it's going in and going out. Again, don't follow it, just be aware of just that point of contact of the air coming in and out. You don't have to control the breath. Just breathe naturally. Whatever method that you're using, just simply place it in mind as we saw in the diagram. It's just a bookmark that you compare against other thoughts. If other is this working? Then let them go by, just like clouds. This awareness. Don't look for sounds or sensations, but observe them arising and falling. Have nothing to do with you. Don't get excited. Rest the mind in this contemplation. Contemplation is not thinking. Contemplation is just resting the mind in the present moment. Mine, not your mind, mine. Continuous. Don't use it and then forget it. Use it, continue to use it. There should be no break in your meditation. Use the awareness of the mind to discern whether a thought that is not the method has arisen in mind. And then simply let it pass through, bringing your attention back to your method. The body is relaxed. The mind is relaxed. Gently sitting, completely relaxed. You are not relaxed, mind is. mind looking at mind, as if two mirrors seeing each other. Infinite. Gently returning to the present moment. If the mind strays, gently bring it back. When mind looks at mind, the answer will be self-evident. Mind is held in place by observing the method. Contemplating the method. Gently releasing the tensions in the body, the tensions in the mind. Let the mind rest in this present moment. Bringing everything to clarity in the present moment. Stay in the present moment. Your practice must be continuous. Be a guardian. Cannot let any thought linger. The crime is not that the thoughts arise. That is natural. The crime is not realizing that they have arisen and stayed in mind. As thoughts arise, let them pass through. The mind has nothing to do but the method. Don't let it generate thought from thoughts arising. Just continue to rest. Mind looking at mind. Not your mind, mine. Rest the mind in the present moment. Keeping the mind clear. There's no need to use force to clear the mind. Just use awareness. Rest the mind in the present moment. Let all thoughts pass through. We do this by maintaining awareness. Maintain a relaxed body, a relaxed mind. Mind looking into mind. Keep the focus on your awareness. You're in this room. Mind is sitting. Staying in the present moment. Relax. Meditation is over. Massage. You can straighten your legs if you want and massage your legs. If you want to continue to sit, sit too. So. In a moment, we will be taking a break, but I want you to maintain this mind of awareness and quietness. You work hard to get it. So keep the mind very aware, very much harmonious with the environment. Do not discriminate. Allow the body and the mind to function perfectly in harmony with everyone else in the room. Maintain this mind of awareness. This is the way your mind should always feel. When I'm eating, sleeping, talking, this mind is always quiet. I shouldn't say always, but at its best, it's quiet. When Gilbert comes in, then he messes things up. But if he's not present, then the mind can be very, very useful, very productive. It is the ego coming in that discriminates and attaches and creates disharmony, creates desires. This is ignorance. This mind is not ignorant. This mind is liberated. This is what you're doing when you meditate on the cushion. You don't run away from self. You run right into self-nature. It's different. Very quiet. So we will take a break, get you off your cushions, and return back for a little more practice after the break. Thank you. Before I start, I would like to find out if anybody has any questions or comments about the meditation that they were engaged in. This is a good time for you to bring up any questions or comments. Yes, go ahead.
When you are meditating, so that thought comes on you.
Yes.
Yeah, sorry. But what if a thought is persistent? So it comes, it stays, and it stays. And then it rolls, and then you say, let's not, then it stays. So what do you do with that?
The famous, there was a famous Chan Master who was asked that question. What if, it refuses to leave? Then he just said, you pick it up and throw it out. So you're the one that created the thought. So who is the master? We talk about mind king. So the thing is that because of habitual patterns, it's difficult to get rid of certain thoughts. They'll come back up. The thing is that they're always there, but you don't realize that they're there, but they keep coming up. But when the mind is bare, when it's just using what we call naked awareness, then all of a sudden these thoughts come up and you realize how often they come up. But before, they're just part of your mind that you're dragging around, like who's dragging this corpse around? When we talk about who's dragging this corpse around, it's like you're dragging around all of your problems, all the things that bother you, all the vexations, and you're carrying it with you. You don't realize how much baggage you're carrying until you just simply allow mind to look at mind, and then these things pop up and you go, where the heck did this come from? Or this one, but then that's when you really need to bring your mind to a rest. So the skill there is is finding a way to bring the mind to the rest. So when the thing is that we talk about two different kinds of thoughts, and this is Sanskrit word. Kusala means just a thought that's there. Like as I'm speaking to you, these are kusala thoughts. I'm not attaching to them in any way. Akusala is a sticky thought, like the one that you have, that just keeps coming back and coming back like on a hot day. I'm sure here in Singapore, but you guys probably don't have gum on the street. But you know, in America, if you stepped in gum on the sidewalk, you know, it's hard to get it off, right? It's just like you're trying to peel it off, but it's so sticky. And that's the way sticky thoughts are, like what you just had. But what you do is you simply just keep returning to the method. So you apply a little more attention to bring yourself to this restful point. And there's a skill that one acquires to be able to bring it back. And as we bringing it back, we gently bring it back. We don't yank it out. We just gently bring the mind back. What we're doing is that we're creating an infertile ground for thoughts, sticky thoughts to arise. So if we have had a thought, let's say something regretted in our life, or something that's happening to us now that's such an emotional issue, it's going to naturally keep coming up, because you are giving it emotion. So the more that you think about it, the more you're ensuring that thought is going to come back up, because you don't know how mind works. So if we starve that emotion, then it won't come up. We don't give it a fertile ground on which to grow. So we just don't, we just ignore it. We ignore that thought, let it pass through, no matter how much it screams and yells and whatever, and it's going there. I'm telling you, you need to look at me. Hey, you forgot you have this problem. You need to look at me. You need to worry about this. You need to have an emotion about this. You need to have fear or anger or resentment or whatever, and it's just pounding you. And each time that it pounds you like that, you're ensuring that it's going to come back. But if you neutralize it, you just simply see that it's mind, and it's naturally arising because of causes and conditions. You created it, but the thing is that anything that mind creates, it can uncreate. So you just don't give it any fertile ground to grow on. You just ignore it, let it pass through. You don't try to drive it out, or beat it out, you don't need to do that. You just don't give it any fertile ground to grow. Little by little, it'll be like an echo. It's going like, hey, listen to me. Hey, listen to me. Hey, listen to me. Hey. Finally, it goes away because you don't give it any kind of a thing. You say, hey, listen, what? I knew you were listening. And then it comes back again, just as loud as it was before. But if you let it go, you have to understand causes and conditions never fail. They never fail. And that was what something that Master Sheng Yen was always talking about. That is pratika samapada. Causes and conditions never fail. Causes and conditions never fail is the Buddha mind. We don't understand the Buddha mind. We don't understand how the Buddha mind works. So we're just suffering all the time. But we're creating the suffering. We being mind is creating the suffering. That when we understand that mind creates the suffering, it can let go of it. It as easily as it created it, it can uncreate it. We just don't give it any energy, mind attention. This is what's very important. So if you're meditating, and let's say, how long can you meditate before you go off your method? Okay, here it is. No crocodile arms. Can you sit for 30 minutes before going off your method? Raise your hand. I'm sorry? Okay. How about 15 minutes before going off the method? 10 minutes? 5 minutes? 10 minutes here, 5. Do I have here 3? Okay. 5 minutes, let's say, and then you start to see a few hands going up. How many minutes really before you go off your method? Maybe a minute or 2. But think about this now. Cause and conditions never fail. If you sit to meditate and you're off your method in 5 minutes, let's say, and you're sitting for a 30-minute period, the next time you sit, how long will it take you before you go off your method? 5 minutes. It's not going to suddenly, all of a sudden, you go, wow, I went from 5 minutes to sitting for 5 hours without having a thought. No, that would be like planting a melon seed, and getting a cucumber. You're not going to get that. You're going to get exactly what you put into it, 5 minutes. That's how mind works. But what if you elevated your practice? Like if you were in the Olympics, would that be how you would practice? Let's say they had a gold medal for your country, the meditation Olympics, and you're representing Singapore, and they go, oh, I'm sorry, he only lasted 5 minutes. Not again. Singapore has a big problem in meditating. They cannot go more than 5 minutes, and the Malaysians are even better than them. Oh, no. But the thing is that you bring your best to the cushion every time. You don't just bring a half-hearted effort. You get a half-hearted result by bringing a half-hearted effort. So you really want to do this and do it right, you practice your hardest. You continually stay on the method. If you can continually stay on the method, you reach a tipping point where all of a sudden, if you can get past that point, then you're no longer falling off the method. It's going to stay there. And why? Because you are creating a fertile environment for a proper meditation. You're not creating a fertile environment for all of your vexations to arise. It's very simple. It's very simple. You can do that. Master Ling Chi says, as far as I can see, all of you people, you're not incapable of doing this. You're not incapable. You can do it. You just have to do it. So that means that when you sit, every time you bring your best, like you're going to the meditation Olympics, you're practicing your best. You don't practice for 5 minutes and go, that's enough. Now, what's on TV? Master Sheng Yen would come after people sitting and say, did you watch a movie? What movie did you watch? And he said, oh, some of you watched a double bill, so you're watching movies. He knew, the people, they weren't on the method. But if you practice continuously, you really have to do it. That's why I was talking about Zhou Renfa, the Kung Fu person, TV or movie person. You face those enemies, you can face them. You can be there. You cannot be there with your sword like this. Oh, 5 minutes later, you're going, I give up, stabbing. You have to be fearless. You have to be fearless. You can do it. You all can do it. But you're just going like, oh, another life, another more, vexations and everything. And what happens? You doom yourself to come back again, right? The only good thing here is at least I'm not saying anything bad about Christians, but their method is more scarier than being a Buddhist. Because if you mess up and being a Christian, that's it. You know, you're in hell forever. You're not getting out. Here, at least you can get out, you know, and you may come back as a dog or something for a while. But at least you can get out and come back. Once I remember I went to somebody's house and I was giving them a treatment. I used to give treatments to people when I was practicing Qigong. And when I met the family, they all came to the door to see me, including the dog. And they had this little dog, like a pug dog, you know, the little round faces, looking real kind of buff, but they're only about this big. And I'm looking at the dog, and the dog goes to me like, did he just nod at me? Like, what's up? And I'm looking, I'm going, that's an unusual dog. And they go, who, Fred? And I go, that's the dog's name, Fred? And they go, yes, Fred. And I'm going, wow, you know, and they go, yeah, he's unusual. He's a vegetarian. And I'm looking at Fred, and he's like, for what? You know? And and I'm going, I can't believe I'm carrying on a conversation with his dog. And then they said, and he likes to watch TV. And I'm going like, because I have two dogs, and they could pay attention to nothing, you know, even if there's dogs barking on the TV, they're just like out, you know. And so after I had given the husband a treatment, I went to the bathroom and washed my hands, and I was coming out, and I went through the TV room, and lo and behold, there was Fred there. And he was in like on the sofa, in the corner of the sofa, with his arm propped like this, and the other paw was like this, leaning back watching TV, you know, like some sitcom, and he's just watching it like so intently. And so I come walking by, and he goes, what the heck, you know? And it was like, okay, you know, like, get out of the way. I'm watching the TV. So I stopped and I said, Fred, what the heck are you doing in a dog body? You know, you shouldn't be here. You know, next lifetime you have to practice harder. Come back as a human. You can't be a dog pretending you're a human. You know, so you have to be careful. You could end up like Fred, you know. You go, I kind of remember I was a human, you know, don't eat meat, you know, what's on TV. So you have to practice harder, you know. So there's a good thing, because you still get like Gilbert's lifetime guarantee. If you fail in this lifetime, you come back again. You're guaranteed another life, but I'm not telling you where you're going to come back at. So you could come back like Fred. So it's better you don't take a chance. Choose the Buddha. Okay. So when you're sitting to meditate, every moment you're choosing the Buddha. You choose the Buddha. Don't choose ignorance. Don't fall back asleep. It's not easy, because we're fighting the habitual tendencies, but you can do it because you created the habitual tendencies. You can uncreate them. I'm showing you how to do that. It's like I'm coming into your dream, like a fairy coming into your dream, you know, like, wake up, come, you have to get out of this dream, you know, and you can go in this way and wake up. You can do that. This is just a dream. It's not real. Go back to being a Buddha. Not bad. Pretty good, right? No, I think I'll just stay here and be miserable for another 10,000 lifetimes. It's your choice, right? But the chance of you listening to the Dharma is so rare that in the sutras, they talk about this as being as if, I don't know if anybody's heard this before, but like a wooden disc about this big and with a little hole in the middle, and it's put in the ocean. And every 100 years, a tortoise surfaces, and the chances of you listening to the Dharma is the chances of the tortoise coming through and putting its head through that little opening in the wood. It's so rare. It's so, you don't believe me? Perhaps you forgot how many times you were a cricket. You see, it's very rare to come back here. And you're not in the heaven realm. In the heaven realm, you're going like that and they go, when were we supposed to practice? Oh, no, give me some more grapes, you know. So it's not an optimum place to practice. So you want to practice. The human realm is like, you know, yay, I won the lotto. Oh, boo, the government took the rest in taxes, you know. It's a bit of good, a bit of bad. And so this keeps you to remind you to practice, because it just when you think it's all great and good, you know, it's all taken away from you. And so we don't understand it. That's what Shakyamuni Buddha, right? Shakyamuni Buddha was shocked. What was he shocked about? Because his family kept him in the palace where everybody was all like California, Hollywood, you know, perfect people, you know, perfect bodies, you know, no fat people, no ugly people, no old people, no sick people, no nothing. He just has to see, you know, all these beautiful people. So he thought the world was all beautiful people and young. He never realized people would start getting old until he went out of the palace. And then he saw the things as they really were. We don't recognize that. We don't recognize that and look at it and go like, this place is not really that stable. And it's constantly changing. And yet because of that, we suffer. And because of the idea that we're holding on to this place, this is the first nidana, which is ignorance. So we have ignorance. The practice of Buddhism is not the practice of going from the last nidana of birth and death. It is reverse engineering everything there till we get back to the first nidana, which is ignorance. Before ignorance, what was there? Just pure mind. Pure mind. The ignorance is that we understand that even the ignorance is pure mind. It belongs to mind. It's an illusion. We don't understand that. So we think that the Buddha, ignorance, and then human beings, but we don't understand human beings in the human realm or the six realms. They're just fabrications of mind in mind. This is different. One way we practice is a way of building a stairway to heaven, where we go, okay, you know, the 3 jewels, you know, the 4 great vows, the 5 precepts, you know, the 6 paramitas, you name it, going an 8-fold path all the way up, and you just keep trying to climb so you can get out. Where are you going to go? Where are you going to go? You get to a point and you can't go any further because it's a fabrication. I remember when video games first came out, I know a lot of you are young, so you have no idea. You mean there was a time before video games? But there was. And when the first games came out, they had very little memory. So you could be riding a motorcycle and all of a sudden you hit a wall and it says, that's it. There's nothing further. You can't go further than this. What do you mean? You can't, because we don't have enough memory to create more fantasy there. And that's where we're at. We are, no matter how hard you try, no matter how much you try to polish this ego, this self, this body, it cannot escape here because it's an imagination. It's not real. But mind has never been tied up. It's always been liberated, but the ignorance is that it doesn't realize that this place is a dream. It's a dream of mind's own making. And it doesn't matter what kind of Buddhism you practice, it holds true in this way. When you sit to meditate, all you're doing is you're returning mind to mind. Wow, that's pretty good. It's pretty easy. I'm returning mind to mind. So it will naturally fit together. Everything will connect in. Sometimes when we have the realizations, you'll feel like things are kind of going like this, and then they'll click together. All of a sudden, they begin to make sense that they never did before. All of a sudden, it's that way, and it's so obvious. But you go, how come I never saw that? And you have to be brave enough to step outside of the idea that this world is real, and the idea that the hardest part is seeing that this, when we say it's real, we cannot say it's not real because it belongs to mind. It was created by mind, but it is something that is different. So show you in this way. So to probably in Singapore, it's like kindergarten, you learn division and fractions. So this here is what the denominator. Forget it. And this is the numerator. You can all read that. All right. So the denominator is everything here in this room is a numerator. It is a finite amount. This number here actually is infinity, but this is contained in mind. So we count up and say, oh, there's okay. There's so many here, 150, whatever units of this. This is not the whole. The denominator is a whole. So we could say, well, this is like 150 to infinity. So this is just something that's appearing in mind. We call that in different names depending on what schools you're looking at. It can be called noumenon and phenomenon. And so noumenon is that which is contained, the phenomena is that which is contained in the noumenon. The noumenon is mind itself, infinite. The phenomena is what appears within it, which is created by mind. So it's an aspect of it. Or we can say that in the Madhyamaka school, it is there's two truths. So apparent reality is here. This is apparent. It's an appearance. So for something to be an appearance, it has to appear somewhere, right? Where does it appear? It appears in mind, which is absolute reality. It is why the sutras talk about things as being mere projections. So this is just a projection. Where is it appearing? It's appearing in mind. So that's a difference. Once we understand that this is a projection, then we understand, all right, this is not what we're looking for. We're not going to be, okay, Gilbert, how do you practice? Well, You have to clean yourself up, make sure you're all good. Don't pass gas. Don't use bad words. Don't do this. Don't do that. Hold your finger out when you drink tea. All of these things. No, that's still apparent reality. The thing is you would say, well, Gilbert, what are you going to do? Gilbert who? And so, because it isn't in this way, it is just that this Gilbert is an appearance. It's hard for us to do that and say, you don't really exist, but then again, you don't really not exist. You only exist in this world as an appearance. This body will wither away, but the mind will never wither away. The mind will remain, but it is not your mind, Ananda. It is just mind. And that's the difference. So you have to trade. You go, but I don't want to trade. I have to give up Gilbert. And especially let's say when you're 20 and you go, I have to give up Gilbert. No. And when you're my age, I go, where do I dump them? Recycle bin. So, and literally that's what Buddhism is. It's a recycle bin. You just dump your body and get a new one. Shifu used to say that's not a bad deal. You trade in an old car and get a new car. But anyway, it's the idea that there is appearances and then there is mind. When we're sitting meditating, it's mind looking at mind. What do we see? The infinite. What does the infinite look like? How can you say what your mind looks like? Not you, but your mind. It's signless. Yet everything is there. Everything's perfectly in its place. Now, what I've been doing, and I'll continue doing in the afternoon, is taking you into the deep end, okay? Taking you to a point where some of you who've been practicing just a little time, you're going, I have no idea what key he's playing in. And the people who've been practicing for a long time will say, I have no idea what key he's playing in. It's okay. It's all right. All you have to do is, what I'm doing is priming the pump for you to be able to understand, because I only have one day to do this, to give you a bunch of things to take a look at and to try to work at and give you a different viewpoint, which is the viewpoint of mind. So when you're meditating, you don't try to polish the mind. This is the difficult part with us, is because we're always trying to polish the mind a better version of yourself. And it doesn't work that way. It really doesn't. But what I can tell you that is, if you practice with right view, doesn't matter what methods you're using, you can use Theravadan methods. And in some ways, Theravadan methods are superior to Mahayana. People will say, don't say that. Yeah, it is in terms of developing concentration. But the problem with that is that then people spend a lot of time on concentration, but they cannot get to the vipassana aspect of it. That's lost along the way. And Mahayana, we don't have the techniques to develop concentration. So it's presumed, it's required that you have to develop your own concentration from understanding how mind works. That's the difference, is that using the method of how mind works is then we apply that to the meditation, then it works. And it works very well. But you have to really, really understand mind and work at it. No matter what method you use, whether it's Theravada or Mahayana, you have to really use the methods as are presented by the masters to make it work right. You can't come to the cushion half-heartedly. If you come to the cushion half-heartedly, that's what you get. You go, well, this kind of tastes like a pie, but it's kind of raw and gooey and not good. Yeah, because you didn't bake it all the way. So when you sit in, you sit and you sit and you sit and you continue. You don't break from that. But along the way, what helps you is that your body is relaxed and your mind is relaxed. The awareness that you use in meditation is awareness that you use all the time. And everything that you're doing, the mind is aware of it. I can feel you guys, you're all like as if you have some ants in your pants now because it's getting close to lunchtime. I'm aware of all of those things, and that's fine. No, but that's the awareness that you have. But see, the interesting thing about this awareness is it doesn't interfere with your function. It is just simply the totality of the consciousness of the things that are happening around you. Enables you to see the things as they are and govern what you're going to do or say next. And so that's important. So, okay, we're almost done. Any last questions? Yes. Hold on, if you could take your mask off for a moment so I can hear you
This
better.
body is in apparent reality. We are in apparent reality. Is time, space also apparent reality?
Time, space is what you're saying.
That's right.
Absolutely. Absolutely. I'll finish with this because this is very interesting in terms of, she's saying time and space. But everything is that can be conceived of is apparent reality. What's inconceivable is going past that, transcending that. So for instance, in the evening, I give blessings. So they transcend time and space. So I can give blessings to people that I know. I can give blessings like somebody has cancer. I can give them blessings, but then I give blessings to the people that other people I don't know that are suffering from cancer. I can give blessings to people that I don't know that are suffering from any illness. I continue to give blessings, and it just keeps rolling to the people in the future that will suffer from cancer, and to give them blessings. But it's also my responsibility to give blessings to those who have already died, lifetime after lifetime after time, to give them blessings. And perhaps the blessings that I gave them now will have alleviated some of their suffering that they had from the past. I'm just paying it in this moment for the blessings that went backwards. You see, it's different. It's not time and space anymore. It is in that way. This is the blessings of like Guanyin Pusa. It transcends the idea of time and space. So your question is a very, very good question, because what I'm showing you is how one can practice that in this world and extend it out in that way. So that we see that the Buddha present moment is not the present moment of here. The Buddha present moment is all times. There is no time in that way. So it was said that one bodhisattva, he just snapped his fingers and 5 kalpas passed in that way. And another, upon his awakening after 5 kalpas, said that no, now that I know mine, I would have preferred not to have wasted 5 kalpas to know it. And so it's different. And you go, is this real or is this not real? And forgive me because I'm going to go a little bit over time. to give you one quick exercise, because you think, oh, Gilbert, he's kind of blowing the cow again here. He's saying things that are just too that's Taiwanese to make it bigger than it is. But time and space, and how do we do all those things, and how does it happen like that? There's said that that on a single strand of hair, 5 billion Buddha worlds can exist. And you go, that has to be a big, big strand of hair, or a very small, tiny Buddha worlds, right? How can that possibly be? 5 billion Buddha worlds without extending it or making it a big one, but they can all be there. So close your eyes for a moment. Imagine a bowl, a wooden bowl, kind of very rough, ancient type of bowl that one would use in the old days. They carved it out. And then you put a walnut inside the bowl. So you try to see the walnut inside the bowl. This almost the same shapes, the walnut there and then the bowl. And now you change it to an American buffalo or a bison, very woolly, brown. So instead of a nut in the bowl, now we have the bison. Try to see the bison in the bowl, the buffalo. Brown buffalo inside the bowl. You can see it. And then change the buffalo again to a big brown mountain inside the bowl. It's changed to inside the bowl. A big, giant brown mountain. Can you see it? Okay, you can open your eyes. How many were able to see the mountain in the bowl? Raise your hand. Okay. See, it's interesting. You couldn't see it? It's okay. Some people can't actually, it's called aphasia. So they can't do that. I just learned this because I was saying, how can you not see that? But now some people just simply can't do it. But you saw that. How can you put a mountain in a bowl? Only in mind can you do that. You see? So then what is real and what is not real? That gives you something to think about. So for you, even though you can't see it, most people would be able to see it, except for people that have that kind of condition. Not a bad condition, okay? But just imagine that people could see the mountain inside the bowl. But the perspective's all wrong, because that would have had to be a big bowl or a small mountain, but I said it was a great mountain. So give that some thought in terms of that when we come back, and you're getting more in touch with what's the inconceivable, okay? So we'll take our break then for tonight. Okay. Come back, I think, at 1 o'clock, maybe a little after, because I cheated you out of some time. Okay.
1:15 then. The food is